Hi, this is Dr. Will and I'm back with just another short video about my SC430. This one is about draining and bleeding and flushing the coolant system. So what I did, I went and bought a new 3-ton trolley jack. I bought some axle stands and some chocks and the coolant system, all for about £110. So I've now got all the tools, so I can do other jobs like changing the oil, for example, and all those things. So I did 3 flushes. The final flush, the water was running pretty clear, so I'm quite happy with that. Obviously I need to keep an eye on the car over the next day or so, keep an eye on the levels, but it was a relatively easy job. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. So I hope you enjoy the video. So I've got the car on the jacks, on the axle stands, as you can see. I've raised it slightly, and the first job is going to be to bleed the coolant. So I'm just going to undo the radiator cap here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a plastic screw right down the bottom of the engine. I'm just going to release that, and that's going to drain all the coolant into a pan. So that's just bleeding into there. That's quite straightforward so far. It might be a funny colour because I had to add a dye in there to check for any engine leaks. So I'll just let that go through and then I'll be with you shortly. Bear in mind I had a new radiator fitted just 3 months ago. It shouldn't be this horrible colour. So that's why I was really keen to flush it all out. So it seems to be a fairly slow process, but I don't mind. Slow and steady wins the race, as they say. As you can see, the colour is really yucky. There's all sorts of debris coming out. Oh, it looks like it might be finishing soon. That's good. That's good. So the next step, I'm going to fill up with the radiator with water, and I'm going to get the engine up to temperature and flush it around the whole heating matrix, etc., and then we're going to drain that and see what colour that is. So make sure to dispose off the old coolant as well. Right, so I've tightened up the drain plug, and now I'm going to flush with cold water. So we're going to pop the lid back on, we're going to start the engine, and we're going to let that run up to temperature. But I'm just going to start it first to let a few air bubbles out. So we can pop that on now. So we're just going to leave that running till it gets up to temperature and the fan kicks in, and then we can drain that, flush it through and see what colour the water is. So just waiting for the car to reach temperature, and then the fan to kick in, and then we'll flush that, keeping an eye on the temperature as well. Which at the moment, yep, it's just starting to creep up to temperature now. Okay, and I'm also going to help to flush it around the heating matrix as well. So I'm going to turn that right up. And put that on full, and that will help flush it around the heating matrix. It can be a bit like watching paint dry, to be honest. There's nothing wrong with the heating here, it's working really well, really well. It's also good to squeeze the hoses as well to help burp the system, apparently. Right, I'm quite happy with that now. It's been running It's been running to temperature now for about 20 minutes. The fan hasn't kicked in, but I've flushed it all around the heating matrix. Heated seats are on. Doesn't seem to be coming on, so I'm going to flush that out now. I'm going to drain the water and see what colour that is, and then I'll probably have to repeat the process. Right, and that's the first flush. It doesn't look much better, to be honest. So I think I'm going to need a few flushes. So I'm really glad I'm doing this. There we go. That's better. Now it's coming out nicely. Not to forget the expansion tank closed as well. Okay, for the next flush, I've just been advised by a mechanic friend to boil a kettle of water and pour that in. Right, so this is the second flush, and a mechanic friend advised me to close the bonnet because he said it will heat up a lot quicker, which is interesting, losing a lot of air outside the bonnet. So I filled it up with hot water, and I'm just flushing through the second system, and I'm hoping that will be it. And then I can do my, normal fill up the coolant after then. Looks like I'll have to do a third flush. Right, so this is going to be the final flush. I'm going to bleed that through, top up with coolant, and then I'll check it again obviously tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have a nice new fresh system. I know we had this dye in there, but that's mainly because this funny colour, but that's because of the dye that I used. I'm quite confident that's why. I can't see any debris coming out now, so fingers crossed, all should be good. Well, that's now draining a lot cleaner. The water is actually green in the container, but the actual water coming out is a lot clearer. So that's my final flush, and I'm going to fill up the coolant next once the radiator's cooled down a bit. Well, it's all been flushed and drained 3 times. Now it's time to top up with a proper pink coolant. This one here with the antifreeze. So I'm going to put that in while she's still on the axle stands, and then I'm going to drop the stands and then check her a little bit later, start the engine, and hopefully she's good to go. And I just need to dispose of all this old coolant as well. Well, they told me it needed 10 litres, that's 5 litres, let's fill up. So I'm going to get it off the ramps and then start it up and see how she goes. We've just filled up the system. I've dropped it down on the jacks, and now we're going to keep it running, and we're going to check the coolant shortly.